Alrighty, fellas. So it has been a while since I've not only uploaded a video, but also filmed. I honestly couldn't tell you exactly how long. It's been at least a week, potentially two. Essentially, I got a little bit behind on editing, and I wanted, the number one focus for me is always going to be the business. I'd like to document this as much as freaking possible, the business and whatever. So, just a little bit behind. Caught up on business stuff, and yeah. So yeah, I sat down this Monday, and I was like, okay, for reference, it's February 27th, 26. So I was just like sitting there on Monday. I was like, okay, I got no idea what to do next, but I know there's a lot to do. And out of that list of all the things to do, I have no idea. Excuse me, I just finished eating. But out of that list of all the things to do, I have no idea in what order to do them. I don't have like a system. I don't have a schedule. I don't, have a standard whatever operating procedure, I guess, of like what I do when I do and when I do what first. So everything's just always up in the air, and it feels very unproductive at the end of the day. Even if I've done a lot, even if I worked at like all hours of the day, I feel extremely unproductive because I'll get to the end of the day and be like, man, there's still all these other stuff to do. But because I don't know the order or the urgency or any of that stuff off the top of my head, I'm just like, there's all stuff to do, and I didn't get it done. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take the time to like all day chatting with AI, use Grok. Here's everything that I do. Most of what comes to mind. Most of what it takes to maintain everything that I do between diet, so cooking, cleaning dishes, going to the gym, grocery shopping, stuff like that. Talking about business, making sure I keep certain windows of my days open in case somebody wants to schedule. Excuse me. And just stuff like that. So I sat down with Grok, and I sat down, started chatting with Grok, AI, and I just put everything that I do, for the most part that comes to mind. So if I go to the gym, how long do workouts take? What time of the day do I go for keeping my diet in check, grocery shopping, cleaning dishes, meal prepping, and obviously time to eat the meals, cardio, having certain parts of my days open in case somebody wants to schedule, having certain parts of my day not like available, but like I can always answer calls, so doing certain things a certain way, during certain times of the hour or certain times of the day. Anyway, put in everything. It actually took me like 4 or 5 hours just sitting there back and forth, figuring this out, figuring that. What would it look like if I did this? What would it look like if I did that? When I have all these things done, what to do next, and then out of these things, the priority between them and which to do first, and how long those smaller tasks take as opposed to like larger projects, and just stuff like that. And I really wish I would have done it sooner, and I know that's all it took. But if it took me 5 hours with like AI, basically like me answering a question, it spitting it out, and me doing that several times, versus me like, okay, this will take this long, and I can fit this in here when I don't have time for this, and instead it's just like, these are my priorities. These are all the things that I do. These are my priorities ranked. I need to keep this spot open for this. This is a flex time that I could schedule somebody in, but it's not always scheduled. This is a time that is for whatever. You gave it it's like, these do not change. These are the priorities ranked. What should I do next? And so now I have a list. I have my operating procedure, which honestly, looking back, sounds really stupid that I didn't have one for so long, because I'm sure anything anybody does that they are even semi-serious about, they have a standard operating procedure. Because think about a position, getting hired somewhere. It's like, what your job is, when to do it, when to do this, when to do that, whatever. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. My entire life I grew up kind of like just literally winging everything. If I was in sports, winged it. No matter what, I didn't care. I didn't prep for anything, it wasn't a study or anything. So never ever had a procedure. Even going to classes, like, okay, I go to these classes on these times, on these days. It's like, even then I would skip classes. I was like, well, whenever I want. So looking back, very stupid. Wish I would have done it sooner. Would have taken me a lot longer by myself. But then I was like, why don't I just dump my life into AI and see what it tells me that I should do? And I did. And I was like, what time should I actually be waking up? Because part of the reason I didn't want to, I was like, if I really do the math and this, I'm gonna end up having to wake up like at 5 a.m. and then still staying up like later. I'm gonna get no sleep and blah blah blah. There's just so much to do. I put it all in, executed correctly, I have a lot of time. So I'm just, yeah, really happy about it. So I wanted to stay consistent with this operating procedure, waking up at a certain time, being in bed by a certain time, that sort of stuff, before I jump back into this, because I wanted to make sure that I could fit. I didn't want to just start filming and have like all sorts of like just footage stored up in somewhere that I might eventually get to edit. So I was like, I'll wait till I know. And yeah, so all this week my schedule has been waking up at 6:15, going to bed somewhere around 11:30 to 12, which is less than the ideal amount of hours of sleep, but this is, just what works for now. And at some point, if I fix my schedule a little bit more, then I'll fix that better, or I'll make that better. But for now, this is working. I don't feel tired. Been absolutely dialed with macros, hit cardio first thing in the morning, obviously lift at night before bed, and then everything in the middle has been all productive. I don't use my phone or doom scroll, hop on Clash Royale, watch YouTube. That's like kind of like because I watch or listen to YouTube while I do so many things. So it's honestly like it doesn't take away from stuff. Like between cooking, eating, cleaning prior to cooking or after cooking, and then just working on certain things, I can have whatever YouTube video that I've been like, kind of wanting to watch or whatever, just playing in the background. And that's at least a full hour of just straight up YouTube, if not two. Now, if you count installs, throughout installs, my ears are completely free. I can listen to music, or I can watch YouTube, I can watch a show, whatever. So, and installs is anywhere from 2 to all the way up to like 7 hours. And so if it's like that, it's like when I'm working, I'm still getting all of that like entertainment value out of it. Like, yeah, it's less, I'm not like completely relaxed sitting on the couch watching it, but I'd argue it's almost like more enjoyable, because it's like it goes by quicker. I'm not like, when you sit on the couch and you just binge something, you're like, holy crap, like I'm so bored, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like I'm not, because I'm still kind of like focused on tinting while listening to whatever. Before I know it, tint's done. I've made a couple $100, and I've still been able to watch the things that I wanted to watch, or listen to at least. And on days that I'm not tinting, like I said, like between all, like little chores that I do where it like requires my hands and stuff, but I can have like my ears and my phone or my laptop playing or whatever, or I can kind of look over, watch whatever, but be listening to it while I'm doing whatever. I still get to watch whatever and get all the stuff I need to get done, and have plenty of time. Like I'm talking like 4 or 5 hours. Now, part of the problem was I also used to wake up pretty late. Like, if I didn't have a car scheduled, I'd maybe wake up 9 or 10. I'd doom scroll to like whatever time I felt like it. It's just really unproductive. And now I just make sure I do everything first, and I kind of earn those doom scrolls, YouTube shows, Clash Royale, and I limit how long I'm doing the thing. So if I got like 4 hours of flex time, I hop on whatever and I limit it to 90 minutes. So I'm not going to sit there scrolling TikTok for 2 hours or playing Clash Royale or whatever. So I limit it so I don't just completely waste all that flex time. Get it out of my system. Even that's probably too much screen time, but whatever. Get it out of my system a little bit. Jump back on whatever little stuff I need to do, or not so much stuff that I need to do, but get ahead really. So like, for example, if I'm doing my editing and I'm like ahead like a week already, then I can either go on to like film more, plan more things to film, or edit, because edit takes me a lot of time right now. But yeah, it's just crazy, because before I'd wake up later, I didn't do cardio, I didn't do any outbound, and I was always a little bit behind on editing, and I wasn't even having time to film this. Now I'm filming this, still having plenty of time to like whatever, enjoy the things that I enjoy, like UFC interviews, blah blah blah, YouTube, just everything there, plus a little bit of scrolling, some Clash Royale, and I still have to go to the gym. I still hit my cardio, my macros are on point, and it's like I get to do all this stuff. The main things that I added was outbound. I felt like I didn't have time for outbound. I felt like I was starting to not run out of time to do this, and I didn't do cardio. So now I added all those 3, and I'm still getting everything else done, and now I have more time. So it's just like silly that I never did it, but I've been feeling great doing it. Yesterday, instead of the recumbent bike, I took a walk, 7 in the morning, sun's coming out. It was maybe like 50-ish degrees, so like coldish, but with the sun right on you, it was like warm, but it was cool. It was fresh. Fresh is the best way to describe it. It was great. And then, spent all day just working on things, being outside. It's awesome. So looking forward to starting to film these again and staying on track with editing them. And just update in terms of I don't know if I gave this I don't know where I left off, but I'll just kind of run through the past 2 weeks, I suppose. So last week, my girlfriend and I had been dating for 2 years. Well, the weekend that just passed. It's Friday today. And so traffic's kind of being a bit funky right now. And so instead of eating 2,200 calories, I likely ended up somewhere in the 4 to 5. 5 would be pushing it. I didn't eat that much, but I think I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And a lot of times when you're eating, you underestimate, not overestimate. So if I'm guessing 4, 5 might be a little more accurate. I'd be surprised though, but like I said, most people underestimate. Generally you'd be surprised how much oil, fat, whatever things have in them, and sugar. So, but that day went crazy. Went out to eat twice that day. Now I think I did have 5 because breakfast was a stop at Las Fajitas, Mexican restaurant, and probably destroyed 2 entire bowls of chips, and not even chips with salsa, chips with queso. So and then I got a Steven special, which I don't know if that's just a thing. I'm sure that's a thing in multiple places for sure. It's just a plate of rice, grilled chicken on top, and cheese. And then all I did was put more cheese and scoop it up with more chips. And so yeah, I would not be surprised, because that meal alone was probably a little absurd. Anyway, that was this past weekend. The weekend before that was a Valentine's Day, and that one I know because I tracked was just under a 5,000 calorie day. Now, I've dropped my calories maybe the last 3-4 weeks. I forgot how long it's been now, but to 2,200. Immediately saw a difference in my weight, started going down. Now I'm creeping in 158, 157s. Had that 5,000 calorie day. At the end of that day, beginning I weighed 157, I think. At the end, I weighed 165. So I think it was a full 8 pounds at the end of the day, heavier. Now by morning, after whatever little business I had to attend to, I was 160. So just 5 pounds overnight dropped. And then the day after, like 158, and then the day after that, I was back at 157, regulated there. But then another one, 2-year anniversary, munch out. Same thing, but it wasn't as severe. Actually, no, yeah. Probably woke up around 160 again, and then started making my way back down. And now today I've regulated again and a little bit down some. So I'm waiting in the 156s. So that's the update in terms of that. Getting leaner. I also didn't feel like updating. I really should have filmed some of those lifts prior to eating that much, because I felt amazing. My pumps were, as good as one can get at 150. But for me, in my 150 body, that felt awesome. So I really wish I'd have filmed, but I didn't think it was necessary, aside from that, because not much has changed. Not that I only want to update when things have changed. I do like to see things slowly progress. But yeah, between not being able to stay consistent and not even seeing much of a difference, it's what's the point for right now? But now I think it'd be cool to get back into it. I think, and I think maybe every day is a little bit excessive. We'll see. I might do it for fun just because I do enjoy doing it, and I got plenty of stuff to yap about. But at least 3 days a week, get to see my pumps, see how I'm looking. But yeah, things are going good. I'm moving back down in weight. Got my cardio absolutely locked in, and things have been great. So pulling into the shop now. Got 2 cars scheduled. First one at noon. I should be wrapped up somewhere around 5 or so, and I've already got all my work done. Now I've just got some overflow. In other words, now I just got to go home and get ahead on editing rather than get behind. So. And I already got a good solid meal in. So anyway, gonna get pulled in, gonna get started, and that'll be it for today. Why make it any longer? Unless I got something to say, but whatever. See you guys on the next one.